If you haven't seen my last video on the drill press table build, here's a quick recap of all my failures. First, I realized that the crank for raising and lowering the bed would hit the tabletop. Next, I aligned the T-track and adjustment knob on the fence with the pilot feed lever, causing a collision. And last, when I fixed the bed crank issue, this resulted in the table twisting if I was putting a lot of pressure on the feed head. So now it's time to finish what I started and engineer this failure into a success. I started with the fence modifications because, well, this is probably the easiest modification that I needed to make. All that I really needed to do was cut the right side of the fence a little bit shorter, just above the T-track, but flush with the cutout that I'd already made. Then, since I'm too cheap to buy new hardware, I just cut down one of the T-track bolts and then 3D printed some fancy new low profile knobs. This is one of the many reasons why I think every woodworker needs to have a 3D printer. The possibilities are endless, from printing random hardware bits and pieces to making full-on tools and fixtures. With the price of 3D printers at an all-time low, there really isn't a better time to grab one. Head down to the description to check out a link for the printer that I use. Since I'm moving the crank handles out from under the tabletop, I can recenter the drill press table that I made onto the cast iron table so that the force is more evenly centered. This will keep the table from twisting when drilling holes into larger projects. Alright, so the next step now that the fence is done is to fix the clamping lever. This is really difficult to reach, so I want to mount it out here somewhere. I picked up this cool crank off of McMaster car, and I'm going to make some brackets that offset this somewhere over here. I bought some 1/2-inch steel stock to use for the locking lever and the bed level crank. Then just used a hacksaw to cut it down to length. Clearly, I need to get a vise. Quick clamps are not the right tool for this job. Anyways, in order to make sure the crank handle joint can handle the torque of the clamping table lock, I used a small roll pin, which is going to be very strong, but also didn't require any tapping or threading. I ripped down a piece of 2x8 pine that I had laying around for the bearing blocks. This is a great use for construction lumber since it's cheap and easy to work with. Just like me. When I started making the bearing blocks, I needed a way to make sure that the hole for the crank would be in line with the crank on the drill press. Since the current crank is set behind and below the tabletop, it's really difficult to measure accurately. If I don't get the hole in the exact perfect location, I would need to either trim the bearing block shorter or add shims until the center of the hole matched the exact center of the crank. Now, in order to get around all this crazy measuring, we can actually use a laser level and set it so that the horizontal level line goes right through the center of the crank. Then we can just hold the bearing blocks against the bottom of the table and make a mark where the line passes right through that block. This will give us the exact hole location for the crank, and we won't have to worry about measuring accurately. I pretty much nailed the height location of the bearing hole on my first shot. I used a clamping collar to attach my crank assembly to the old clamp assembly, and then clamped that bearing block where I thought it needed to go. After giving the crank a couple of spins just to make sure everything was in alignment, I attached the bearing block with a couple of pocket hole screws, which was a lot easier than hand-cut dovetails. The next step is, of course, to do the crank for raising and lowering the table, which will go down here. And to do that, I'll be using these bevel gears. So my new favorite trick here is to use the laser level to find the exact center of some point that's difficult to measure. So I needed to measure from the bottom of the surface to the center of this pin, laser level, bam, perfect. Just put the block up there and mark it. You're good to go. Now that I had the bore location dialed in, I could start drilling the bores and mounting holes in my bearing blocks. I mounted the bearing blocks using a couple of clamps so I could adjust the blocks to make sure I got a really good fit with the gears. So before we move on, the next issue that I have to solve is that I bought 1/2-inch stock, but the bevel gears have a 14mm bore. This means there's going to be a little bit of wobble in here, and if I drive that set screw in, it'll be off center, which is no good. So this is another reason why having a 3D printer in the workshop is just an absolute game changer. I went ahead and 3D printed this little shim here that fits perfectly inside this bore. Then I can install the shaft and now it's a perfect fit. I realized that my bore height was off just a little bit, so I grabbed a deck of playing cards from my neighbor on poker night and used them to shim the bearing blocks to get the bevel gears to mate perfectly. The only thing left to do was to mark the length of the crankshaft and then get it cut down to size. Man, I really need a better vise. Moving the crank to the front and the locking lever out to the side is a serious game changer for this drill press. I absolutely recommend upgrading your own drill press as soon as you get a chance. Now I've got an awesome video for you waiting right up here, so head on over and I'll see you in the next one.